Spring has definitely sprung here in the Tetons. Being low on fuel can make you feel like you're not fit. Having a low heart rate when climbing hills at a high exertion might mean you're low on fuel. If you're eating a keto diet or a paleo diet, low in carbohydrate diet, and you want to run fast, have a high level workout, your performance will suffer. Pretty awesome. Springtime. Last time I was here was during a 3-day photo shoot for a tourism company, and we staged an overnight camping excursion in minus 30-degree weather.
Okay, look for you on this side.
Kent set up practice.
Just
Is there a way for you to put it right outside where I can see it? Yep.
Oh, that's cool. I like that.
How do I change this?
Well, this week has been pretty awesome. We've had temperatures in the mid 40s, snow starting to melt pretty quickly, but we got a lot of ways to go before I can really get on trail. I won't be on trail consistently until May. So we've got another 6 weeks or so, but good time for a lot of road running. I'm getting a little hills today, starting to try to get in some climbing. So I'll get in about 1,000 feet on roads today, and I'll try to slowly integrate more and more climbs as things melt out and as roads are a little bit more conducive to getting up high. And we're gonna dive into fat burning today with the Tetons in the background. It's a misconception out there. I speak a lot on heart rate training, fat burning, and how important fat burning is for endurance athletes and for endurance performance. And I think there's a misconception out there that when you hear the word fat burning, that means that you're losing a lot of fat, or that fat burning in this concept is something that you should do if you're looking to lose weight. And that's not necessarily the case. So when I talk about fat burning and becoming more efficient burning fat as fuel, what I'm talking about and where this becomes important is when we want to improve our efficiency within our endurance. So if we're training to burn fat as fuel, staying aerobic in some of our workouts, our targeted workouts, this means that our body is primarily burning fat as fuel. And what this does, especially for endurance athletes, is that this is an efficiency that we can train. The more efficient and the better we become at fat burning, the more and more of the percentage of calories and energy that we use during a run or a race is primarily coming from fat. And therefore we can store and hold on to our carbohydrates longer and longer. So again, remember, when we hear the word bonking, that refers to running out of carbohydrates. Fat used as energy is a slow burn. It allows us to go at an easy, moderate pace for a very long time. We use carbohydrates when the effort gets higher at the track intervals, fartleks. Anytime that effort really increases is when we switch over to our carbohydrate burning. You might refer to that as lactate threshold and above, where we're starting to really balance out and starting to really creep into burning more carbohydrates for fuel. Some athletes that maybe are just starting or have a low level of fitness might be burning carbohydrates even at an easy effort. And I would argue that part of the effort's not that easy because they're inefficient and they're not fit. Okay, and this is where the fat burning term and philosophy of training comes in, is that we want to train our body to burn fat as fuel during long, easy efforts. So again, we're holding on to those carbohydrates for when we need them, late in a race, and a hard effort, when there's a hill, whatever it be, okay? We want to hold on to those carbohydrates so we don't bonk. And we can go longer and longer with possibly not needing to fuel as much in a race. And that's another key aspect of becoming more efficient, especially with ultra running, is that if we're more efficient burning fat as fuel, we're maybe not needing to fuel as much, or maybe even more important, the fuel that we are fueling with is utilized better. We're uptaking that much more efficiently. So again, we stave off the bonk, or we don't fatigue as quickly in an ultra marathon. If it's your early season and you're starting to train a lot of long climbs, be sure to climb them aerobically so you create that fat burning efficiency. Once you go anaerobic, you start tapping into your carbohydrates. Okay, your time is reduced. Your level of intensity will be shortened. You'll fatigue, okay? So during the early season with starting to climb, keep your heart rate aerobic, zone 3, zone 5, and create that level of efficiency. So then when you get into the meat of the season, you're much more efficient burning fat for fuel. You're able to go longer and faster aerobically, which ultimately is going to help your climbing, helping you with your strength endurance. And on the flip side of that, when you're doing your short hill repeats, your 1 to 2 minutes, maybe even 30 seconds to 2 minutes early season, to help create building force and power that complements your endurance, you can do them much harder, because now again, you want to create force. You want to create power that goes into creating strength endurance later on. So I have a lot of questions about how to create a program, and obviously I'm not going to get into that. That's a pretty long answer, and I've got my training programs for that, my training plans. But with what we're talking about today is, if you view early season, springtime renewal, we want most of our easy efforts to stay aerobic, and the short interval efforts are hard. And then as we progress to the season, as you become more and more efficient aerobically, those harder efforts become longer and longer, and then maybe your easier efforts becomes a little reduced. And so with this type of periodization, you might want to play around with periodizing your nutrition. Early season, when the level of effort is low and doing a lot of fat burning, and the level of high intensity is very short, you could factor in that this is a good time to maybe have a little bit more balanced nutrition, fat, protein, carbohydrates, or maybe a little bit more fat, a little bit more protein, a little less carbohydrates, because you don't need the carbohydrates to fuel a lot of high intensity efforts. And the high intensity efforts that are high are short. And then, just like periodizing your training, where you slowly progress to increasing your intensity throughout the year, then that's going to require more carbohydrates. So then as things intensify throughout the year, maybe you slowly integrate more carbohydrates to help fuel that. Okay, this is where your own experimentation will come in. But as I mentioned, if you're trying to do too much high intensity efforts across the board, anecdotally and scientific research shows you will lose power. You will lose your ability to perform at a high level if you're eating too much fat. This kind of takes the whole conversation full circle. I just love the green, the red, and the white. Back here in the Gros Ventre, it's so awesome that way. We got a lot of red rock, a lot of red soil. So when the green starts to really pop against the snow, it's pretty awesome. In analyzing one of my new athletes this week, she's an ultra runner, and I was looking at her climbing. She started to do more climbing intervals, 10, 15-minute intervals, and I noticed her cadence was really, really good. Above 90 actually, which is really good on hills. And so what that tells me is that she's pretty efficient climbing hills, but then maybe a limiter for her is that she needs to work on improving her strength and power to get better. So she's going to be doing a lot of short, hard, fast, steep hill repeats. 30 seconds, a minute, up to 2 minutes to really, really start to create more raw strength that then put in with her climbing efficiency and her endurance will create strength endurance for her race. Ultimately, her early season races speed goat. Intervals that I'm having her do, these 10 to 15 minutes, right now I'm keeping them aerobic like we've talked. Okay, so she's really efficient going uphill. Good cadence uphill. She was able to maintain a good heart rate on these climbs, keeping it aerobic. So she's very efficient. I have to worry a little bit less about that, and I can focus a little bit more on her weakness of pure raw strength and power. All right, one more hill, and then I'm gonna show you where my run camp is located. All right, I'm watching my heart rate, keeping it aerobic, working on my cadence, all that early season efficiency. No different than a long run, but it's just on hills. The key is to stay patient. Regardless of how long it is, I gotta stay patient and just keep it easy. If I get impatient, I want it to be over with, I'm gonna push. My urgency and my impatience is reflective of me pushing, maybe out of being aerobic. And you got a nice finish line up ahead to keep you patient. Nice. All right, downhill to the truck. Okay, last week, a lot of you guys have been asking, my run camp registration went live. So if you're interested in coming out for my August Cool Impossible run camp, check out my website in the description below for all the details. It's a 3-day run camp, August 12th, 13th, 14th. If those dates don't work for you, also check out everything else I offer during the summer here in the Tetons. My Mountain Running Academy. Have many athletes come visit from all over the world, booking private sessions, whether it's multi-day sessions, one-off run form consultation, whatever it be. If you guys are coming out, visit Jackson Hole either with the family or solo or with a group of friends, look me up. Hey, let's get together and do some run training. Again, check out the website for everything I offer. If you're again interested in run form, race strategy, that's a big part of a lot of reasons people come out to visit. We do a lot of race strategy running to develop strategies of how to race based on the distance and the terrain. If you want altitude training, okay, a lot of reasons to come out. Beautiful Jackson Hole. It's a great family vacation. We're 50 miles south of Yellowstone Park. Okay, so it's just a a mecca for everything outdoors. Great for the entire family, and we can get together for a couple hours and check out your run form or go for a run. So to give you a sense, here's the Teton Range. Let me take off my gloves. So right there is the Grand Teton. This is Teton National Park, and just outside the park, just basically beyond those trees, is the location of my running academy at Jackson Hole Mountain Resort. That's the ski area. Okay, so perfect location. True epic world-class running. See you this summer. Thanks for watching, guys. Still got a lot of snow.